This thing just turned off on me. I don't know what the that was about, but okay. So, I have 2 interviews today. One, it was with Cow Baby, and Cow Baby is in Colleyville, and it's locally owned. And they have a new place. I can't remember the name of it, but they just opened. It's going to be open on Tuesday, I think, is what the hope was. So I'm going to go meet up with them, and hopefully I can get on board, because they're looking to buy microgreen for me. So I'm going to go do that first. It's at the Sears Tower, Crosstown Concourse. And then after that, I'm going to a company called Green Clean, and they clean houses for celebrities and whatnot. And then after that, after those 2 things, I'm gonna go back home, and hopefully around that time, Philip will be on his way over, and he's gonna help me put my my logo, or my what do you call vinyl, on the back windshield. It's for I'm gonna be a vegan coach, and for the microgreens. It's gonna have my number on it. It's gonna have the Facebook website on it, which I haven't figured out yet. I'm gonna put both microgreens and the vegan coach on the same page, under Jolly Greens. So you go to Facebook, and then you search in the search bar Jolly Greens, one word, and they have options of buying microgreens wholesale or individually, and you can get coached by me to go vegan. So that's the plan. Philip and Mickey supposedly have their mind set to come over today, after 11, around 11ish, something like that, and check out my home, my new place that I just started renting, and install the vinyl on the car. So I'm on the way to Crosstown Concourse. It's about 60 degrees on the 15th of October, and it's wet and misty. So I just found out I have a pair of pants. I have more than one. I think I have like 2, maybe 3 pair of pants. I was thinking, man, I only have sweatpants, and that's gonna be cool to go to 2 interviews in sweatpants. Think, gosh, I mean, these aren't the greatest pants to be wearing, but something to wear other than sweatpants. They're cargos, khaki cargos. That's my go-to. Like, supposedly I'm a bane of fashion, is because khaki cargos are like ubiquitous, and I don't see why not, because they do the job, man. You got giant pockets to put everything in it, like a freaking chipmunk. You just got big old pouches to put everything in, and they breathe. You don't feel like you're being suffocated. It's the way to go. You don't have to carry anything. You have to feel like you're about to forget something. You have it all on you. So got pants. So it's gonna be cold today. no, I think the high, what Siri told me, the high of today is going to be 66. It's going to be a pretty cool day. Pretty cool and wet. Pretty cool, wet, drizzly day. I have a whole day of just goofing off. Monday's my day off. I can definitely go in though, like probably try to around 5 if they even need me. But yeah, man, pretty excited. And I go back to the idea that even if I don't make any kind of deal with this company, this Cow Baby pizza joint, even if nothing happens, I'm still making $240 a month with Bring It Food Hub. It's a group of people from Memphis Tilth. Memphis Tilth started, I think it was, don't get me lying, I want to say it was Cincinnati, somewhere up in the north, I want to say, but they are a nonprofit, and their whole mission is to make the food system better, which is right up my alley. That's all I care for, is to make things of that nature, and anything that needs to be, well, yeah, our food system needs to be better, and they're doing that. So Memphis Tilth has this company called Bring It Food Hub, which they get all the local farmers to put their produce in a bag. Not all of them. There's not many of us. There's probably like, maybe, I'm stretching, I don't know for sure, more or less 50 of us, produce growers in Memphis, which is a shame because we have 500,000 people in Memphis alone, over 500,000 people, and 50 growers is nothing. So we really need to up our game and our food plight. We're just like we are so heavily dependent on California. We spend 11, from what I've read and what I've come across, it says $11 billion a year, California. $11 billion. It's mind-boggling. That's $7,000 per person in the tri-state area. You have 1.5 million people. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, events, you name it. All these things are happening through California, and we live in a delta. We have over 9 months out of the year that's a growing season. 9 months. And then, they have new technologies. We have, hot houses and hydroponics, and we have all these ways to make our food here fresh, local, environmentally friendly, economically supportive, just all around a better situation. So it's only a matter of time that people figure out that it was a facetious, I guess that's the word, facetious thing to say that money doesn't grow on trees. And yes, it does, because at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to eat your money. Money's useless if you don't have someone to trade with. But if you have your own apples, you can trade your apples, and that's just as good as money, if not better, because you can eat your money. You can't eat your money. So, and there's a guy named Paul Gauci. He is over 40 years in this technique. It's called the Back to Eden method. Back to Eden method. Growing food God's way. 40 years in, over 40 years, and his topsoil is not really topsoil. His soil is 40 inches deep. So every year of doing this technique, your topsoil grows an inch, and he's got 40 years of it. So you literally can stick your arm down into his topsoil or a soil. The soil is so loamy, I guess that's the word, loamy. It is so loamy that the plants will actually move away from one another. Like normally when you plant up, you plant your row, the plants grow, but then they smother each other. So you have to transplant those plants that are getting in the way, or just let them die, or just pull them out, get them out of the way. But with this technique, this method of growing, they crawl away from one another. So you don't even have to do it. It's totally hands off. This guy is literally handicapped. Basically needs a walker, a cane to move. If he doesn't have his walker or his cane, he does not move. So he takes care of an entire acre. I mean, that's not an excuse for everybody. Not everybody has an ability to move, even though they have a cane or a walker. So, not everybody can do this. But with that entire acre, he grows enough food to feed 100 people, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Which, unheard of. And it's not just any food either. It's next to wild food. It's second to wild food. So it's a huge thing. Super simple, totally hands off. And I'm one of the 20,000 people in a year that started their own garden, their own orchard, after watching Back to Eden film. 20,000. I think that's around 50 something people a day. I don't remember the numbers, but it's something to that. 50 people a day decided, okay, this is too easy, I'm going to do it. I have the space, I have the time, I'm going to make this happen for myself. And I'm one of those people. 20,000 in a year. Over 50 people a day. And so it's only a matter of time. I mean, like I say, you can't eat your money, but you can eat an apple, and you can trade with apple. You can trade those things. So, yeah, Bringing Food Hub is a big advocate for having self-sufficiency in Memphis. I'm all about. I mean, there's no reason all of our states shouldn't be self-sufficient. Yep. That's another thing I'm doing. I have an orchard. It's a little under 45. Right now it's about 30. A lot of them died the first year, which I had replacements, and they haven't come in yet. I'm waiting on Stark Brothers to replace those trees. They're waiting for the cool weather, so when they transport them, they don't die in the heat of the truck. So they're gonna bring them as soon as it gets cold enough to where they'll transport and not die. And then once they do, I'll have around 45 dwarf fruit trees in a quarter of an acre. It cost me $5,000, so I'll have an orchard that'll grow around 80. I want to say it was like, I don't want to lie. I want to say it was 80,000 pounds of produce a year, something of that. So it's about around 400 pounds per tree a year. So whatever that number is, it might be only just 20,000, something to that. It's been so long. So 20,000 pounds, and each pound on the market, with these organic growing methods, it's off the charts. I'll get like $2-3 a pound for some of the produce. So $2-3, that's I'm making friggin' $20,000-$30,000 a year just by having an orchard. I go out there, I prune, I harvest, I cut the grass every once in a while, like once every other week, maybe twice, once a week maybe. Yeah, I spend maybe 2 or 3 hours a week out there, and I'll end up making like 40 grand, 30 grand a year, 20 grand a year, for a $5,000 investment. And that's, you know, you got kids that are going to college for 60, 100 grand and then come out owing that for the rest of their life, and not having anything to show for it other than the fact that they owe that. And they could take that same amount of money and own Memphis. 100 grand, you could buy, you know, 3 or 4 acres and then put trees on those 3 or 4 acres and be set. I mean, you would have food for your family, food for your friends, food to trade, and then, you know, so yeah, like that's everybody. I don't care how many people grow food, you're never going to grow enough. You have one guy that can grow 400 people on an acre. One person, 100 people. There's 7 billion of us, and I would suspect there's probably about 100 million people growing all the food for everybody. 100 million people for 7.5 billion. You're gonna have shortages. You're gonna have famines. You're gonna have a lot of problems, and that's what we have. And it's, you know, I'm here. I'm at the tower, which is pretty cool. You gotta check it out. I mean, inside's even cooler. I mean, what? So yeah. It used to be a department store. They used to sell cars and houses and, you know, all the good stuff that are normal department stores. So they've made it into a big community support system. So that's why I'm here, because the restaurant that is having me meet with them today is all about support. We're supporting each other, and we need to make things better as we go. And yeah, hopefully that's the case. So I'm gonna drop this off, and yeah, I think I'll let you go.